From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with huge news about the financial markets, your money, your stocks, your bonds, your and your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In today's recording, we go over the incredible great news as the fourth stimulus check has landed in the U.S., every U.S. state, and we'll go over how you can get that incredible check in this recording. It's for you up to $85,000. But we'll also be turning to the Build Back Better Act and that economic data that came in today that gives big support for the Build Back Better Act. A lot of economic data, a lot of commentary, especially from Fed Governor Lael Brainard, speaking today. All the latest details on her comments. She said we're going to have more interest rate spikes. Is it exactly what I've been predicting the last few recordings over the last few days, or is it more? I'll have the latest details on its impact on inflation, interest rates, your SS300, that'll raise your benefits up $300 more per month, and also the mortgage rate, the housing market crash of 2022, and all that wonderful, great stuff. But as we turn back to the Build Back Better Act, crypto winter is coming. Get your lobster shorts ready because billionaire Bitcoiners Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss say we're heading into crypto winter or already there. Tech upward trend? Yes. NVIDIA, Meta platforms, which of course is formerly Facebook, and other tech stocks continue to grow today. That's good for the U.S. economy. Is it signaling a rebound or not? All the latest details and the impact of those Jamie Dimon comments yesterday about your economy. And then we'll be turning to what the Build Back Better Act would look at, job growth and job numbers. Slowest job creation pace for the pandemic era in a new number released today. What did that number show? Not a lot of jobs being created, but on the other side we have a surprising number that showed less new jobless claims, and then a third number that showed not a lot of new layoffs. So very conflicting data across the board. We'll analyze it in today's recording and show what it means for you. For the housing market crash, for the stock market crash, for the recession of next year and the year after. Yeah, we have a lot coming up in today's recording. Then we'll turn back to the price of gasoline, and we have a major deal in the works. A major one you haven't heard until today. And you're only going to hear it on Afternoons LA from America's most beloved show at daytime. But step one, subscribe. Step two, become a member and get those incredible checks coming up later this recording. Stay to the very end because we have big checks for you in today's broadcast. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, let's get to it. It's afternoon. And good afternoon. This is a breaking news report for June 2nd, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. How are you? Hope you have a really good day. And I'm going to be with you all weekend long, so stay with me because the data's coming in. Big data that impacts your wallet and impacts your money. And that data started earlier today with a surprising deal with gasoline. Yeah, this is the best news I've had for gasoline reporting in nearly 3 months. A major deal is in the works that could ramp up the production of gasoline internationally. Here we go. And you know what happens when you ramp up the production of gasoline? Then the price comes down. Oh boy, this is the type of news we want. That's coming up late in this recording. After last night's recording of Evenings LA in prime time at 5 o'clock, I reported that gasoline could go to $10 a gallon if they don't get a solution. Well, this may be the solution. But first, let's turn to those incredible fourth stimulus checks. There's a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. I found it for viewers of this channel, found it in March, and you need to get it. You can't wait a day, not a week, not a moment. Step one, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe right now. There's a link under the video. Hit that subscribe button. Step two, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Step number three, get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, from me to you. Because in that incredible newsletter, it has those four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. They've been sent out from executive order and from states. Not something like the first or second like you would have understood, but the viewership of this channel has been getting big checks, and you want to get those big checks because the economic downturn of this economy is happening. And we're going to go over how to get those big checks later in this recording. But let's first start with the Build Back Better Act. That would give you $15,000 to $80,000 of checks on top of these checks. And the negotiations are still underway between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. 3 clusters, 3 add-ons. All the clusters and all the add-ons would likely survive because Joe Manchin has never said anything negative about them. In fact, he says he wants to get them done, with the exception of 2 of them, of course. That is, anything that expands Medicare going to go out, and anything that has paid leave going to go out. Other than that, he's always had big support for the Build Back Better Act. Not at necessarily the price point, but overall wants to get it done. And that is why the negotiations are underway between Leader Schumer in the Senate and Joe Manchin for 2 reasons. 1, the midterm elections. 2, you needed the money. Oh, there's a third, the economic downturn. That economic downturn is big signal to get that Build Back Better Act. And while we're going to go over those checks in prime time on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock, I'm going to go over more about the economic data that supports the Build Back Better Act and the data that came in today. Number 1, it has been nearly, 3 months since I've recorded a crypto show on this channel. Why? Because crypto is really not a place where you want to be right now because it's devaluing. Well, that confirmation came today from one of the 2 biggest names in the industry, the Winklevosses. Of course, you know them from the former issues of Facebook. So the billionaire Bitcoin creators of the platform Gemini, featured on the channel for many, many months, says that we're in a crypto winter right now, otherwise known as a contraction phase, and that further compound of the macro and geopolitical turmoil will be an issue. They're laying off 10% of their workers. And that announcement came today. This comes after Coinbase announced that revenue have fallen 27%. It's not a good industry. Everything is really imploding in the crypto space. Not just there, let's go over to tech. Tech had a really nice little pop today for the upside, as the analysts now believe that maybe there may be a lightening by the Federal Reserve. Who said that? That's ridiculous. So what happened was NVIDIA was up 6%, Tesla up 7%, Zoom up 3%, and Facebook up 4% after Sheryl Sandberg, of course, stepped down yesterday. Now, that data good. Of course, bad data is what's good for Build Back Better Act, and good data is bad for Build Back Better Act. Yeah. But here's some bad data for Build Back Better Act that is good data. Here we go. The data that came in today was a lot about job growth, job creation, job loss, and job pivoting. And the data was very, very inconsistent. First, what's the overall take? The overall takeaway is that the number of new jobless claims was lower than expected. So that is an improved sign of this U.S. economy. Number 2, the number of people laid off was actually lower than expected. Oh, good. Then comes the third number. The number of jobs created was less than expected. So we were almost on a run of 3 for 3 until we got to the last one, which is perhaps one of the most important numbers: lack of job creation. If you're looking at anything to determine how big this economy is growing, how much that GDP is at issue, how much we're staying away from recession, you'd see jobs created. And you could have looked really hard today and you wouldn't find it. Because what happened? It was the slowest job creation number in the pandemic era, in a number released today. Private sector employment rose only 128,000 new jobs in the month of May, reports ADP Thursday. And this was so small, it was less than expected. What was expected? Remember, it came at 128,000. What was the expectation? 299,000. Ouch, 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 ouch. That's not even 50% there. The number came in for about 40% of what was the expected number. It was supposed to be 300,000, came in at 128,000. Oh my God, that is awful. That is awful. Then on the other side, we have a conflicting number. The number of jobless claims was really quite low. I've been talking about this a lot in recent days. I said, I don't like 200,000 new jobless claims per week. It's not a good number. So what do we have? We came in exactly 200,000. Okay, you're playing with LALATE, aren't you? Weekly jobless claims fell 11,000. So they fell 11,000, but they came in right at the money at 200,000. Anything more than about 188, I don't like. This is new people going on unemployment this last week. Continuing jobless claims fell to still 1.3 million. So 34,000. It's still 1.3 million people still on continuing unemployment claims. But here's a fascinating number. layoffs. I don't usually have this number. Layoffs is really low at the moment. The analysts are now saying that we really just don't see people losing jobs. Job gains across the country are slowing. We just saw that data. But few workers are actually losing their job. There's no sign of company layoffs, meaning the labor market is loosening up as much as Fed officials were hoping. Is that so nice? They're hoping you all lose your jobs. Well, that quote just kind of came out wrong. I didn't say the quote. That's the quote from Christopher Rumpke. Mr. Rumpke, that quote is just a little bit not nice. But let me tell you, do I agree with the quote? I don't agree with the quote because the viewers of the channel, you're the eyes and ears. If you're on the live chat right now, post whether you've seen, yes or no, have you seen people get laid off locally where you are? I asked this question last week and viewers said, absolutely. Absolutely, they see people being laid off. They see their friends and their neighbors, and they see when you go into the stores, big box retailers and some of the mid-size retailers, that there's less people working the floor. They use the example, you go to checkout and usually see 3 people at checkout, and now they're down to 1 or 0. Post in the live chat. Do you see less people working, and do you see or more people working? And I got to go with my viewership. I don't buy the quote, and you and I have learned as a community that you are the eyes and ears and you see things far before I see it because I'm not in Walmart. There's no Walmart at Santa Monica. Yeah, Walmart actually gave us guidance 2 weeks ago that said there's too many people on the store floor as sales clerks. We have too many people. We're not moving the merchandise. That's the type of language that they don't need all those people on the floor. So conflicting data. There we go. But overall, I'm going to take the job creation number and the jobless numbers. Those two numbers are the really ones I'm going to look at. 200,000 new jobless claims, not good. Even it went down 11,000, not good. More reason to get the Build Back Better Act done than ever. And number 2, job creation. If you've been with this channel throughout 2022, you remember when Joe Biden came out one time and he was so angry by the new job creation number. Well, folks, this is a horrible number. This is the worst number I think I've ever recorded during the president's administration. 138,000 new job creations in the private sector in the month of May is horrible. It's horrible. And what does it mean? Yeah, it means the economy is tightening up. It means we're shrinking. It means we're getting closer and closer to recession. And that is why you need the Build Back Better Act. Now, we also had commentary today from Lara Brannard. If you remember her from last year, she was the second in running for Fed governor. It was either going to be Jay Powell or is going to be Lara Brannard. So what did she say today? Did she repeat my prediction for interest rate spikes? She did. Another day, another click that I got it right. She gave guidance that she really believes that there's going to be no change by the Federal Reserve on those interest rate spikes and that they're going to stay the same forward where they are for at least 3 more meetings. I've been saying half basis point for the next 2 meetings and then a quarter thereafter. So she basically said maybe 3 more halves, but she would not be that specific. Right now, it's hard to see a case for a pause, meaning to stop doing it. She said we still have a lot of work to do and we had to get it down to our 2% inflationary target. I love her sitcom. It's just really good. It's better than anything on Netflix. 2% inflation. That's hysterical. Yeah, never going to happen. Never going to happen, Leo. Never going to happen. In fact, the Department of Labor and the CBO says never going to happen. So it's going to get down to 4% inflation later this year. But it's nice to wish upon a star and hope you really are there. What's the expression? Wish upon a star. Hope you get inflation down where you are. Oh, I love that. I just came up with that. That's why you do impromptu recordings. So is she going to get it down to 2%? No, she's going to get it down to 4%. This is big news for your SS300. More about that in a second. Brainerd says we're certainly going to do what's necessary to bring inflation back down. That's our number one challenge right now. Yeah, Are you winning the challenge? No, it's sort of like that MTV show, the Challenger, and no one's you're losing it. You're sinking in the buoys at the moment. We're starting from a position of strength. The economy has a lot of momentum. Oh yeah, of course it does. That's why we're supposed to be 7% inflation in the month of April. That's why we came to 6.9. That's why the Department of Labor and the Department of CBO says we're going to shrink all the way down that GDP to 2% by next year. Yeah, we have a lot of momentum. So much momentum that we're negative GDP growth. I mean, these comments by Brainard are just, they go to those luncheons at the Federal Reserve and they're like, this is what you say. This is what you say. 2%. Keep on saying 2%, 2% inflation. Keep on repeating until you sort of hypnotize people. Not working with me. I wear glasses. Or sunglasses. So here we go. Lionel Brainard says that it's a reason, when asked whether we could see 2 more 50 basis points at the next meetings, Brainard said it could be a reasonable path. That's sort of non-committal. Of course, it's going to be at least 2.5 basis points. Beyond that, she says a little hard to say. I agree with her. There she's right. I've always told you that's the third meeting. That's the real question mark. 50-50, and then the next one after that is the real question mark. I say quarter because I think that it's just not going to work. But she says that they're trying to reduce $95 billion on the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. That will equate to 2 or 3 more rate hikes. That's exactly what I've been reporting. And that is why last night's Evenings LA was really one of the most watched shows in a long time. It's America's most watched show for financial news in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time last night. And last night I had the comments from Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, one of the most beloved and one of the most esteemed bank leaders in the United States. And guess what he said? 100% of what I've been saying for nearly 3 months. For 3 months, I've used the following expression on this channel, that there is a storm out to sea. You can see the storm out to sea. It's starting to pick up wind as you stand on the edge of the sand. And that storm out to sea is going to come on land in a few months. What did he say in new comments yesterday? He said there's a hurricane out there and it's about to touch land and it's coming down the road and it's about to really pick up. And it's a hurricane economic development. Same words, same weather analogy, same time horizon. And yes, it means that the next 90 days is critical. The next 90 days is critical. That's why Leo Brandon's comments are really consistent. Again, we're going back to this next 90 days. June 2nd, let's count out 90 days. July, August, September. Within the next 90 days, we're going to see a lot of things happening. Number one, we're going to see how much this economy will shrink with that GDP. Number two, we're going to see if there's going to be 3 interest rate spikes. Number 3, we're going to see whether they work. Number 4, we're also going to see whether Joe Biden makes that swap from coal to inflation right away. Number 5, we're going to see whether the Build Back Better Act is done and the checks are out in the mail. And number 6, we're also going to see whether that student loan debt forgiveness implosion gets more heated than ever. Why is this next 90 days so important? Because the midterm elections is in November, but you don't vote in November, you vote months earlier. So back it up. That means that they have to finalize the vote for the checks by about August or September. Why is September so critical? If you've been on this channel, we have now had how many Septembers on this channel? It's September, as colleagues would say. Whatever happened to September? So September's always been a critical month. Why? Because Congress goes away that half of August. Not the whole month of August, but half of August. You're not going to leave me because I got 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, whether Congress is around or not. They're not from Congress. They're from the President of the United States. But as they go away in August, then the question mark is whether they got that Build Back Better Act really at the edge of the finish line by July. Look how close we are. 90 days feels like tomorrow. That is why the situation is becoming so detangled and entangled. And what you need to do is make sure that you do a series of things. And those series of things start right now with your finger. Finger number 1 step is to go under this video and subscribe. Subscribe right now because you cannot miss a single recording. There's breaking news every hour on the hour. Number 2, become a member. Number 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that goes over the incredible checks one at a time. There's a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state, and you deserve those incredible checks. But what you also deserve is some great, great financial news, some great solutions to problems we have at hand, and solutions that we have asked for months at end. And as I queue up lots of graphics about gasoline and pumps and pumping gas, is this what I'm about to go over? It absolutely is. I am so ecstatic to report this news because this is a time for potential celebration. OPEC Plus is now indicated it will start to really ramp up production of gasoline pumping. Oh my God, the incredible great news. This is what we've been wanting for a very long time. The situation of the gasoline so high, so expensive for you right now is caused because of shortage of gasoline. As shortage increases, then demand increases also at the same time, and then as shortage increases, the price goes up higher. What has been the issue? The issue is, where does the replacement oil come from? And over the last 7 days, the situation has changed very dramatically. What's at issue is that we lost about 2.5 million barrels of gasoline from Russia. Then we lost about 1 million from OPEC Plus as they reduced production back about 60 days ago. Last weekend in Brussels, the Western allies voted to approve the banning of Russian oil in all those Western countries, with the exception of Slovakia, Germany, Hungary, and Czech Republic. That surged the price of gasoline for Brent crude to the highest levels ever reported on this channel, nearly 125. Then, on Wednesday this week, China came off of lockdown. That will now cause increased demand because they're one of the biggest consumers of gasoline. They've been on lockdown, locked in their homes for 2 months. Now they're going to drive. Now the traffic is heated up. There's actually pictures of traffic all over Shanghai on broadcast news. And as that demand increases, the price will increase because the shortage will magnify itself. What does this mean for you? Last night, I had in the recording on Evenings LA, the gasoline could now go to $10 a gallon in the United States. That the international price of Brent crude could surge to $185. We have JP Morgan using numbers like 175, 180, and other analysts 185. And I said, they gotta find a replacement for the oil. We've had a lot of suggestions and a lot of paths, but none of them have finished. We had Venezuela, didn't finish. We had Iran, didn't finish. And we had OPEC Plus, which was the very first country, very first conglomerate I referred to when Putin invaded Ukraine. I said, this is the one that makes sense. They are generally allies with us, especially UAE. And why not get them to increase production? Well, they avoided the subject in their last briefing with press nearly 2 months ago. And then they also decreased production. Ouch. So what was the breaking news on this front today? Finally, that OPEC and its oil-producing allies agreed to spike output in the month of July and August by a larger than expected amount, as they are too banning Russian oil, that they will increase production by at least 645,000 barrels per day in those 2 months. My goodness, this is big news. The group is trying to slowly get back to 10 million barrels per day that agreed to stop producing back in April of 2020 when the pandemic started. This is such incredible great news that the Biden administration actually had a comment about this. The White House's new press secretary said, "We recognize the role of Saudi Arabia as the chair of the OPEC Plus and its second largest producer in achieving this consensus among the group members, and the United States will use all its tools to address energy prices and pressures." That's such a nice way to say it. You could have been a little bit sweeter about that. I would have just, sent them a box of bacon. This is really wonderful news. This comes after EU leaders on Sunday banned 90% of Russian oil. And here is why I find this really fascinating. I find this fascinating because on last night's recording for Wednesday night, June 1st, OPEC Plus said it was considering banning Russian oil as well. Does this look like it's really opportunistic? It does. This is my takeaway. OPEC Plus did not increase production initially. Then they let the Western allies ban the Russian oil, which they did. Then OPEC Plus said, maybe we'll ban the Russian oil, which they're now still considering. And now OPEC Plus says, oh, you all need oil? Come to us. We increase the production. So they're not going to stick it to you by limiting production so the prices run up. No, they're going to ramp up the production because Russia's out of the equation. Oh, I love it. It's really great news. Bottom line is for you, $10 a barrel, $10 a gallon at the gas pump will not happen if this stays on point. Of course, this is just July and August. Those are big travel months in the United States. But they say they're trying to get back to full capacity of where they were pre-pandemic, 10 million barrels a day. Oh, this is great news. We could see gasoline drop dramatically if they continue to fall through. Now, let's go to those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. What is this channel? If you're new to this channel, welcome. Welcome to all the incredible new members we're joining every day, hundreds of new members every day. And this is one of the biggest financial news channels in America, growing astronomically every few days. And it has the #1 most watched show for financial news in prime time, but it does things a lot differently. Yeah, and besides showing beautiful surfing scenes and besides having the broadcast made very attainable, very easy to digest by all viewers, this is a broadcast channel that gives you not only the economic predictions of where this economy is going, not only tells you where we are on a particular day, but also gets you checks. Yes, this channel actually gets people checks. We don't report the news of the checks. We actually get people checks. We've been doing this since day one, and we've been very successful, $50 million. No one has put the effort in. No one cares. No one has the heart as much as you and I. And in the second half of this video, we're going to go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. It started back in March. Viewers of the show said, LA, can you find us some checks? And I said, yeah, let me look for some checks. And I found it. And how did I find it? I'll explain the details for you in the second half. But these are monster checks. You qualify for these checks. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Married couple. If you're children, without children. If you're on benefits like SSI or SSDI. If you rent, if you own. I got you a check for all the walks of life that watch this channel. And we got all those incredible checks coming up in the second half. But you got to do a couple things for me before the commercial break. Step 1, you got to go under this video and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a single video at any moment of this day. And then step 2, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. There's a button under the video that says join here. And if you did not notice, a wonderful new feature now featured on this channel is at the front of this channel, you can now see some of the members' faces. Yes, on the front of this channel, I've enabled a new feature for this channel that allows a random showing of members' faces on the front of this channel. So make sure if you're emoji for your personal account that you upload a picture of yourself. You may want to upload a picture of a crayon. Or upload a picture of a dragon, a fire-breathing dragon, or whatever you want to upload. But that random showing of your faces in the front of the channel shows the proud nature that everyone is to be part of this incredible community, the Purple Power community. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over those incredible checks that the Purple Power community is getting. And then we'll be turning a little bit to student loan debt forgiveness. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we're just getting started with the breaking news, and we'll have a preview of tonight's Evenings LA as well. Stay with me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now from the shores of Santa Monica, California for beautiful June 2nd, 2022. We have more breaking details on those incredible 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. They are huge. They're for you, single, married, with children, without children, on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA, RB, or not. Rent or own, they are huge, and they're coming up right now. But you need to do a few things. First, subscribe to this channel. Step in, become a member. The link is under the video. Third, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And fourth, stay with me because I'm going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. How do these checks become a reality? Let's take a step back. It was back in March where viewers to this channel said to me, LALATE, I'm a member. Can you go get us some checks? The Build Back Better Act hasn't gotten done. And I looked high and low and I found 4 stimulus checks for my members. Where? I found them by executive order. I find them by looking at details coming from states. States and the president's executive orders have delivered 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, and it's absolutely incredible. Remember, there's a lot of ways to get you checks, and they're not all routed through Congress. Executive orders are incredible, especially when done by the president, and also great when done by governors. So let's go over these incredible checks, and we're going to start with the details of the first one right now. But remember, I'm here to get you big checks, not small checks. $600 check, $400 checks, $300 checks, though it doesn't cut it. I've only always gotten viewers on this channel monster checks. And the first check is massive. It's $6,500 to $12,000. Would you like $12,000 today? Of course you would. Of course you would want $12,000. That is not $1,200. That is $12,000. And that first stimulus check is what I call Check A. The lettering system on this channel, created by me, refers to each of these checks one at a time. This was, of course, the first check I found. $6,500 to $12,000. It's a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Grid. And if you're on benefits, go get it. Step 1, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Join under this channel right now. Become a member. Step 2, get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system, and go right down to the newsletter where I mentioned Check A, and there it is. There's a link. Click the link and go in and apply. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. I put it all organized for you simplistically. As one viewer, Carol, said, LA, you make it so simple for people. You just deliver all the information. All they have to do is press a few buttons, like ordering a pizza on their phone, and they're ready to rock and roll. You make it so simple. You do all the work for them. I really do. Let's go to that incredible next Check B. You're not going to stop with Check A because you're going to go get Check B. It's a $15,000 to $80,000  4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less. Married couple, $150,000 less. And if you're on benefits, and go get it. Average view of this channel is getting $66,000 to $80,000. They've been getting these checks since March. They've been getting Check A since March. How do you get Check B? Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go into that membership newsletter. Go down to Check B, and there's that link. You click the link, and you go in and apply. That is the only way you do Check B, and I deliver you the details so simple and organized. But you're not going to stop right there because you're going to go get Check C. Check C is an incredible MSC check averaging $2,000 over 12 months currently. That is wonderful news. It is for renters, yes, for you, and also for homeowners. Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. About 15 places to get the incredible money, and it is huge. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go down in that membership newsletter to where I detailed the Check C. And at Check C, I'm going to have for you about 15 places to contact for these incredible sums of money. And this success of Check C started back in the earliest days of December 2020. In the thick of winter of December 2020, millions of Americans were needing money, and Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin were not getting it done during the negotiations of the second stimulus package. So viewers said, hey, I like you, find us some money. And I looked high and low, and I found them what I call at the time purple money. Rent, utilities, mortgages, this is more. Every U.S. state. But the luck of the draw was I had a piece of document of an exclusive preview of something that was about to become a law next year. And I coined the expression, third stimulus. I said, if this becomes law, it's going to be the same thing I'm teaching you how to get now, but a lot more of it. I spoke specifically at the time about skill set. It's so important to learn a skill set on this channel. That's what I went over then. That's what I went over in spring of 2021. That's still what I'm going over today. This skill set is what has brought viewers monster sums of money from this channel, from third stimulus. And Check C is still the continuation of third stimulus. That's basically just a renaming of the money. Third stimulus is still around, and this is huge. Let's look at the money for rent. Would you like $20,000 to $30,000 for rent? Well, this is what viewers have gotten. Would you like $15,000 for utilities? That's what Mark's brother-in-law got. Would you like $250,000? That's what Mark's brother-in-law is getting for SNAP over 10 years at $25,000 a year. Would you like these combos from multiple items? Here's Nisi. She's at $23,000. She did not want $23,000. She wanted a lot more, because that's what I teach the viewers of this channel. Always want more. Don't be happy with just what you have. So she's gone back several times and gotten $8,000 multiple times, and she's now at over $50,000. Mark wanted more. He didn't just have $32,000. He went back, as I told him on air to do, went to $50,000, then to $100,000, and then to $166 because he got checks B. Here's Lorraine. She was at 105. Now she's at 120. That is the true pushing of the envelope. You keep on going back and giving us some incredible sums of money. Let's recap. Step one, go to the front channel and hit that subscribe button. You want to watch all the videos throughout the day because there is so much breaking news. I can't overlap the content day in, day out because the news is changing so dramatically. And the recordings can only go so long. So you don't want to miss any recording because the news changes dramatically throughout the day. Step two, become a member. The link is under the video. Join here, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And then at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, you'll get a YouTube alert that'll say new LA post. Right down in there, there'll be a line that'll says newsletter and have the details of all the information I just went over. And you go down and you click the link and you go right in. If you have a question about how to use the newsletter or how to manipulate the newsletter, send me a private message on Facebook. I'm here to help you at facebook.com/LALATE news. Let's go back to that recession and those comments from Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, and what it means in the context of what's happening with JPOW, what it means in the context of your money, and what it means in the context of the next 90 days. 90 days is a real new narrative, well, not a new narrative, but a new real laser focus I'm giving viewers of this channel, because now so many people are saying it. I've used a lot of time horizons with you. I've always talked about, 4% inflation by the end of the year. I've always talked to you about how many months we're going to have 8% inflation. I've also talked about the number of Fed hikes. But I'm really desperately focused on these next 90 days because a lot could happen in the next 90 days. A lot could happen. They can get the Build Back Better Act done or not done in the next 90 days. They could swap that COLA for inflation and raise your benefits up for SS300 or not in the next 90 days. You could see those interest rates absolutely surge out of control in the next 90 days. That's very likely because there will likely be 2 or 3 interest rate hikes in the next 90 days. And then you could potentially see the downward spiral of the housing industry, the auto industry, the travel industry, as these interest rates continue to surge with the Fed hikes and inflation doesn't come down. And then you could see all the impact that the viewers seem to see before the analysts see, which of course I'm referring to that labor issue. Is the labor market going south? Is it stagnant or is it improving? Today's data shows that analysts are really out to left field on this one. My opinion of the situation is the labor market is not imploding, but it's not robust. I certainly understand the job creations are not there. That makes sense. Businesses are not making as much money as they would. Their net revenue is down. Their net profits are down. So they're not going to hire more people unless it's, pilots for airlines that do have shortages. They're not going to hire more store merchants for a Walmart or Target. We know that. But are they going to start doing massive layoffs? I really think it needs to be 2 quarters of corporate earnings that are really bad. And we've only had really 1 quarter. When's the next quarter? At the end of another 4 months, 3 months. There you go. When we have 2 bad quarters of corporate earnings, I think you're really going to start to see these analysts saying, hey, these companies are going to start laying people off. They're not making the money they're supposed to be making. And this is where things pivot very quickly. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that most of the major people behind your money look at unemployment numbers as the major determining factor. The White House does. Jay Powell does. Janet Yellen does. The Democrats do. And you know what? I'm not the person sending you money, but I always thought that unemployment numbers are so important. I think they're really, really important. The other one I think is very important is consumer confidence. And I don't have a lot of data on that this week. We'll see maybe by the end of the week. Of course, tomorrow we're going to have that major number that comes out, which is Friday morning. The Friday morning is the new the jobs report for May 2022. And they're looking at 328,000 new jobs, non-farm jobs generated last month compared to 428 for April. So they're expecting the number to be down 100,000. Could it be even down more? Remember, the number that came in this morning was 40% lower. 60% lower than what they expected. It was 40% of the number. Really bad. I mean, it's like they're expecting a number at 100, and it came in at 40. Really bad pushing. And what's important for you is that you need to get all those incredible checks. You need to get these checks in every U.S. state. So, step 1, subscribe to this channel. Don't wait a minute, because the downward spiral in this economy is very, very complicated. But the next 90 days is going to be very severe. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday and get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Next, join me for Evenings LALATE tonight at prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We'll have more details about this and more as we go into a big night for the shores of Santa Monica, California. Stay informed, stay focused. Don't forget to become a member and stay with LA for more.